Welcome back, guys. This is part 2 of Dynamics of a Family. Please, if you did not watch the last episode, go back and watch it. Then you'll be able to catch up on exactly what we'll be discussing. You know, it's very interesting because I moved from Wajir when I was about, I think, 5. Mm-hmm. So I didn't, I have, from my Somali side, I have, we are 11 of us.
Yeah.
Right? I'm the 9th born, katikati too. So moving in now with my mom and my 2 siblings, I never met again my mom or dad. I never interacted with them. But my 2 firstborn biological brothers were in the military. So they used to always keep track of where I am. They would come home. They will take me out and stuff like that. Wanajua msichana yao ako wapi. So I used, those 2 biscuits for the military.
Yeah.
Hey, I used to eat those things.
Let me tell you my experience here. Since I've been raised in the Air Force. Hizo biscuit tulikuwa tunazita biscuit za mbao. Juu zilikuwa ngumu.
They used to be like a pack,
but ni tamu kidip kwa chai.
Yeah.
And then you bite.
It's that acquired taste. I remember it because the first one doesn't taste very nice. Yeah. But the more you
eat it.
Yeah. So they used to always know where I am and stuff.
Nimepelekwa mbali.
So I remember when I was in Form 2, I'm told my mom and my dad, my biological parents, are coming to see me.
Yeah.
I remember I was so confused. I didn't know. I was like, am I supposed to feel a certain way? Am I, and I remember during that period, not even the period when I was going to meet my parents, there was a lot of movies where they used to be about kids who are swapped or kids who are adopted and stuff like that. And then the real parents come back to get their kids.
Yeah.
There was so many switched at birth. I don't know what, there was so many movies about it. And I used to feel I remember we used to have that discussion a lot. And I'm like, but the person who brought you up, that's your parent. That's what used to go through my head. So now comes when I'm in Form 2 or Form 1, one of those, I think Form 2. And my mom and my dad come. And I didn't even know what to do. I was like, what, then my sis and my brother told you, go play, do your thing.
Yeah.
This is Sauda, and And I remember my mom sitting on my right side and my dad sitting. And they're just touching me. They're just holding me everywhere. I'm like, what is going on? Language barrier. So we couldn't really talk. But then my sister-in-law was there.
Yeah.
And was my brother there? I can't remember. So they're the ones who are translating, but we were not saying much. But they just kept holding me, and I remember my mom and dad cried. Mimi, nothing. Nothing happened.
You're mean.
I was cold. And I remember after, I remember just sitting there. I was like, should I have felt something?
Yes.
Should I have cried? I should have felt something different. And I remember my mom now coming, my adopted mom, and we had to have that discussion. And I was like, I don't feel anything. I the way I feel about you and them are 2 different things. And my mom is like, but that's okay. It doesn't mean that you don't love them or you love me more or anything. It just means the way you love us is totally different. I'll do anything even now for my biological parents and whatever and stuff like that. But I realized I love them, but there's also that aspect of respect for them for giving me an opportunity in life. You get, because they're nomads. So at the end of it, I don't even know what would have happened to me.
Let me ask you, sorry to interrupt. Now that you've mentioned your biological parents, you find in some families, especially the kids who are adopted, the first question that comes in their mind is, why did my parent have to do this? The understanding of the reason as to why this happened. Why couldn't you have gone with me? We would have survived it together. Did you get to understand? And at what age did your mom explain that to you, of your parents, and how did you react to it?
I think what made it a bit easier is like you could tell my mom is white and I'm black.
Yes.
And at the very beginning, because my sis is, I'm the one who doesn't really look Somali. If you look at my brother and my sister, and my sister is pretty
I've seen
dark.
Abdi.
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah. So my sister
is Somali.
Even my sister is a dark beauty, and has all the curly hair and whatever. So I was a bit confused when I was younger, because now my sister is dark and I'm light.
Yes.
So guys used to assume I'm half something because of my mom. But then now they would question my sister. But then they wouldn't say to my sister, it's me. It's like, oh, you're so light and high. Your sister is so like, what's the relation? You get? So, but then the fact that my mom was white and I wasn't, I could easily tell we are two different people. And then it's the fact that my mom would always talk to us like, you're getting a better life. Plus, we had contact with our families. It was an agreement. Like my mom, my adopted mom, will just be there to educate us, to bring us up, to have a better life. You get? And then when you understand that your parents are nomads, I think at some age even you'll be like, this makes more sense than this. So even a lot of like some of my Somali side of the family, after I got to know them, they'll always make a joke about, oh, unajua mama yako alichagua kuchunga ngamia instead ya kukuchunga. Wow. Imagine. And I wouldn't say much about it.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing.
Yeah, like guys would say it like in my face.
Man.
Yeah. And I remember like the last time I was in Uwaji was 2019, and I could see my mom, whenever someone would make such a comment, and I remember I was so mad that time, and I just told someone who was a cousin or whatever was there, like, translate this, make sure you translate this, and I told my mom, like, I know people keep saying you chose my dad and that life, but the fact is you actually gave me a chance. You gave me a second chance in life. I wouldn't be this person that I am. You true. Get? Yeah. So for me, I've never really asked why. Actually, the why that I asked was why my mom adopted me, not why my parents gave me up for adoption.
Okay.
Because we were in a rehabilitation center with other disabled kids.
Yes.
And the question was like, out of 150 kids, why me? Yeah. That was the question that I used to ask. So it wasn't to my biological parents. So when I was younger, I asked my mom that question. She was like, oh, you're so cute. You're so whatever. I was like, that can be it. So when I got older, I was like, okay, mommy, now I'm older. Like, what was the reason? She's like, you are the most stubborn child. Like, you were always in the naughty corner.
Yeah.
Always. But the thing she said she loved about me was that I was very determined to be independent, to work and stuff like that.
Okay.
So when she looked at the other kids, she was like, this one will go far in life and stuff like that. Not like the others wouldn't. Yeah. But I think for me, I was that kid, like, if I don't feel like doing something, I'm not going to do it. Up to today, by the way. Very stubborn. If I don't want it, I don't want it.
Yeah.
But if I put my mind to something, then I'll do it. So that was the question, not to my biological parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grace, have you had the conversation with your son? At some point he did ask. Yeah.
No. And the reason why is
has he ever asked?
He would never.
Does he know what happened?
No.
He doesn't?
No.
I think I feel you where you're coming from. But it's weird at his age right now, he has not asked. Yeah. Because I know, okay, for me, my son.
Well, he's not asked me directly.
Maybe someone else.
He's asked my sister.
Okay.
And then my sister told him, listen, you know your mother. She you feel something atakuambia.
Yeah.
So ask yourself why of all the things that she's never told you about, why hasn't she told you about that one? So you need to ask yourself that. And I remember one day he came and told me, because I remember we were having a conversation with my mom, and my mom was like, unafaa kuambia Simon baba yake ni nani? You don't know what is in that lineage.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I was like, how do I begin, first of all, telling you, my mother, that story?
Yeah.
Then he came to me and he said, Mom, no, he didn't even call me Mom. Now, because this is how my son, when he wants to have very serious, deep conversations, he will call me by name. And the way, Grace Dane Mukujapa. So now me, I'm like, oh no. Because I know what's coming.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, you don't have to tell me what you don't want to tell me. I know whatever it is, inaku,
Yeah.
you're struggling with it.
Yeah.
So when you're ready, you'll tell me. However, just tell me what he was like.
Okay.
That would help. And I'm like, okay, we can start there. We can build from. So he knows what his father was like. He knows the things, he'll do something and I'll be like, me. Like I'll tell him, me, where you got that from your father's side of the family? He's like, I know, right? Yeah, I'm like, yeah. And then but he's like, so you told him. I'm like, no, I didn't tell him, but. And that's what actually my sister, because my sister has done psychology. She's like, you know what? You don't really have to tell him the person and the story behind what happened between the two of you. Yeah. Just tell him. So I went and told him, listen, your father loved you, without a doubt. Uswaye ambiwe ati ilikuwa ni story ati mamako na babako walikosana, your dad was an ass. No, he loved you. The things that happened, when I get the courage to tell you, I will tell you.
Yeah.
But he was a really awesome guy. You have these mannerisms about you that is about like him, which is this and this and this.
Yeah.
There are some things that about him that are very negative that I don't like about you, but you will pata kutoka your side. Hizi zingine tempa yako ulitoka kutoka mimi. Trust me, that's all me. But his calmness, because Simon is such a calm child.
Yeah.
Me, I've never seen such a calm child. Me, I'm all over the place. He was like, are you done? I'm like, yes, I'm done. Okay, sir. So now,
You were saying?
Yeah. I'm like, so I was saying. So yeah, I have not told him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it the truth. It's not because I've lied to him or anything, but I didn't do that thing, and that's what I wanted to ask the both of you. Are you the kind of people who tell their children, "Oh, babako alikufa na accident," and you know the father is alive? It's just that you're doing those things. So I'd like, no, I have never given him a story at all, but I have always we just talk about him kijuju then, but I'm getting to that age now because he's 19 and he really needs to figure out what his identity is, and I know I need to have that conversation.
Yeah.
So we made a deal. I told him by the end of 2023 nitakuwa nimekuambia. So I am actively prepping myself to sit
to
down
talk to him.
Yeah. Because again, for me,
he's at a good age for you to have that conversation. Yeah.
You know, when my mom passed, my adopted mom passed, I was in Form 4. I was about to sit for the exams. And I remember now, everyone was like, oh, I remember people came to talk to us. And I don't know, I'm getting emotional about that. Anyway, so everyone was like, oh, remember, you're Africans. Like, there were a lot of those things used to be thrown at you. Like, oh, you're Africans. Oh, remember, you know, those things. And I remember guys decided, oh, we all need to go to Wajir to meet our families. Like, so kids who have never been back at home don't know much about that culture, don't know much about it. Yeah, so we are packing whatever, like guys are going to find out who their families are, whatever, and stuff like that. And I remember that for me, because in my mind, I was like, I already know my family. I might not know them deep or whatever, but they know my whereabouts and all this.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it was right. That moment was right even for my siblings. But you see, I didn't really have a say at that time, and I wasn't brave enough to say much. But I remember that morning when we were being picked up to go to Nairobi, then go to Wajir, I was like, I ain't going nowhere. I was like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And guys are like, no, you have to. I was like, me already know my family. My family knows my whereabouts. My family knows everything. And when I'm ready, that's when I'm going to do it, you know. I was left. My siblings went. My sis came back. She had enjoyed herself. Like, I envy my sisters sometimes because she's such a happy-go-lucky kind of person. Like whatever happens, we move forward and stuff like that. And I remember my brother just came back and like 2 days later, it's like, I wish I never went. Because the first thing they did to him was cut his hair.
Oh, no.
Like my bro has like,
I've
you've
seen
met my
Abdi's
brother's hair. Child has pierced his ears and stuff like that. And the first thing they had to do was cut his hair. He was allowed to have long hair.
Abdi's hair is as long as, what's the name of this movie? This, the King of the Ocean or something of the...
Poseidon, Aquaman.
Yeah.
That length.
Yeah. Such
exactly
hair.
like actually that's his hair.
That is yeah, so that was the first thing that they had to do to him. And then like everything was just a culture shock, you know, for him and stuff. So I felt really bad where like you're forced to actually to know where you're from or stuff like that. Like I feel like it's a process, you know, like the way the two of you, I mean, you and Grace are saying, like, it's a hard conversation to have, you get. So for me, I felt really bad that, like, my siblings had to go through that whole process and everyone in our ears, like, oh, you're African. I was like, I know I'm African, but then I was brought up in a totally different way. And this is how I see the world. Because there are times I'll say something, guys are like, you're so white. I'm like, what does that even mean? You know,
but it's true.
You're so white.
It's true. It's just some things that you do. You can't really say that it's something that you've been brought up in an African home.
Yeah.
You can tell like it's totally different from how a different family would have been brought up.
Yeah. So I think for me, the whole, when it comes to blended families and stuff like that, is know the dynamics, understand the dynamics. And like I said from the very beginning, it's not about blood. I mean, relationships is what really matters to me.
I think I had it easy with mine because of the interview that I did with Nana. My kids watched that interview that I was talking about, and I talked about, and I was crying.
It's hard.
It was a hard conversation for me because I didn't expect actually that interview to go to that direction, but I'm glad it did because I got to let out some things that I didn't know that were really actually bugging me and hurting me. But they watched it, so I told them to just take a minute, watch it, and then they come and ask me any questions. Nobody did. Nobody did. And I have never ever trashed their dad ever. At the point where my son at some time back, he used to tell me that he doesn't have a father because in school they are taught about families and parents and you know, dad, mom and all that. And then he goes, and then one day he just comes and tells me, Mimi hata sina baba. It really made me feel so bad. But I told my son, you have a father. He is not here, but he's alive and he's somewhere, and you have a father. So never say that you do not have a dad.
You know,
we are just living the three of us. This is our family as we are right now, but he is alive. Okay.
Yes. Let me tell you how my mom handled that in primary. How we used to write compositions, my pets, my dad, my mom, my home. So we are going home and we have to write a composition about my dad, and we are telling, like, because my mom used to pick and drop us to school, so in the car it was always the same. How was your day? So that, what did you do? What, you know? And she's like, any homework? I'm like, yeah, we have a composition to write. We have this and this. So what's the composition about? Oh, about our dad. So my mom's like, and I'm like, I don't know. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
My mom's like, do you, like, you don't have, I'm your mother, but you know your biological dad, so you can write whatever you want about your biological dad.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I don't know anything
about
him.
Yeah.
So that day, I mean, homework was very important. The homework had to be done. So the next day, we went to school. We went with my mom. My mom is like, where's the English teacher? Yeah. She's like, my kids did not write anything about their dad because they do not have a dad. And the teacher is like, but it's a composition. It's imaginary. It's like, you can't tell a kid to imagine. Do you know they stopped that whole thing of family. My pets, my dad, my mom, because a kid doesn't have a pet.
Yeah.
Why are you telling a kid to write about a pet? You get? And my mom's like, you can't, you don't know the dynamics. You get? If you can't tell a kid write about my mom and the kid doesn't have a mom.
Yeah.
Like, what does the kid write? So yeah, I remember during my primary, whatever, every school that I went to, there was no such composition that we ever wrote. So yeah, because I mean, what do you tell a kid?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I remember my son one day said that aliulizwa habari ya babake, alisema he was like he was very tiny. Alisema alimezwa na fish.
Jonah.
Exactly.
There you go.
And then I was like, good boy. I'm joking. Yeah, so it's always a conversation that is not always going to be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not for trashing your parent.
No.
Trashing the parent to the child, however bad the parent was. Yeah. Let the child discover the parent for themselves and that have that experience. As much as we are parents and trying to protect our kids from experiences that we had in that specific relationship, it's only right for the child to experience their relationship with their dad, because by the time they grow up, he might be a different person, or maybe not, like what Marcus has shared. You see, like let them just see it for themselves. Because you cannot always hide your child from the other parent.
It's true. Because actually how I look at it, especially like from your angle, from where you're a single mother or whatever, it's where like he was just, maybe he or she was a trashy husband or wife, but wasn't a bad dad or bad.
No, that is very true. He was actually a really good dad.
So that's a totally different relationship from what the two of you had. So we close.
So we are done, and we would like you to share your feedback. What experiences have you had? Also, do you have a blended family? Do you have stepsisters, brothers? And how did you guys get to blend in? How did you guys get to learn from each other? Do you talk like Sauda and her Kalenjin and Somali family? It's like, that was so interesting for me to learn about you. Now I understand why you have Chep and you have Abdi in the same setup. Do you live in a single family? And how has it been for you and your family? Has it been difficult, the relationship between you and your family? Do you know about your other parent? Or maybe is it a question that you find so difficult to ask your parent? Would love to hear such feedback from you guys. We will sit down one episode and just talk about all your feedbacks from all the episodes, and we'll just bring them. Tunasema Marcus, he doesn't care, even though amesema, and everything else that you're going to share. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, please go to our social media accounts. We have a Facebook account and we have an Instagram account, Badcast KE, for all of those. And please like the page and follow us. If you're watching on YouTube, we do have a Spotify account and our social media accounts, as I have mentioned. So please also subscribe. We have so many followers so far as at now. And if you've not yet subscribed to our channel, please do. Please do. Please do. And ring the bell for any new episodes that are going to come up. So I guess that's it.
Yeah.
We will see you guys another time with a different topic, of course. And please, just share. If there's any topic that you guys want us to discuss, please be a conversation starter. We would love that. So share, let's start your topic, your discussion, your experience on something that you want us to talk about. And that's it.
Yep.
It's a wrap, guys. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.